So I decided to switch out my headphones, and I can say that since December of last year, I have not used a Bluetooth headset one single time. Using the Rally device to get this vibration while you're on a table, if I'm the therapist and I'm putting this vibration into your heel, you feel it all the way up your bones. You feel it like very high up, especially into the hips. But some people feel it all the way up into their shoulders and even their neck. So we're getting a good amount of vibration depending on how hard I push it into your heel and what setting I have on the orbital massager. And there's different wavelengths of light that are either beneficial for us or potentially harmful for us. But what Hyperlite Optics is doing is they are actually transforming light into beneficial light. So it's basically, we get all of the color spectrums, or the bulk of the beneficial color spectrum, and it's not constantly tinted with, say, red at night.
Welcome to Simply Walk the Talk. Our bodies and minds adapt to what we do most of the time. If you want to change your body and mind, you must change what it is you do most of the time. This podcast explores all things health, wellness, fitness, lifestyle, and biohacking. Stay tuned as we explore various thoughts, methods, and experiences from a multitude of conversations between our interesting guests and experts through many fields of work. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Simply walk the talk. Simply walk the talk.
Welcome back. It is your host, Josh Holland, and I wanted to highlight a few things that I've been working on sort of behind the scenes. So I want to use this moment to do a review of some of the tools that I've been working with and some of the processes that are going to start to develop as time goes on. So one of the first things I think I want to go over quickly, because a lot of people have been asking me, and I've been super excited to develop this relationship with a company called Hyperlite Optics. The glasses that I have on right now are from the brand Hyperlite Optics, and they're doing some really, really cool stuff. In fact, back in 2020, I looked into this group, and the mother company is Zepter and Bioptron, and I learned about them before the pandemic really took hold, and I realized that they were doing some really cool things when it comes to eyewear. And many of you probably know that I'm a big fan of Raw Optics, and I've used their products, like off and on for the last 6 years. And I think a big majority of that was because when I was trying to connect with Hyperlite, they didn't have a presence in the Americas, right? They didn't have a presence in the United States. And so it was difficult to like actually find ways to work with them. But I didn't let that get to me. I just decided to continue doing what I do. And I developed a really good relationship with Raw Optics. And I love everything they talk about when it comes to blue blocking. However, when it comes to Hyperlite Optics, they have a method or a system known as beyond blue blocking, because many of you today now know like blue blocking is so trendy and prevalent wherever we are, especially in the world of longevity or biohacking. But Hyperlite is doing something very different, because as we all know, blue light is a part of the primary colors. And so we want to try to get as much beneficial light as we can throughout our life. And if we're constantly always being bombarded with blue light because we don't have blue blockers, or we're constantly blocking the blue light because we do have blue blockers, then in a sense, we're sort of missing the full spectrum of this energy from light. And there's different wavelengths of light that are either beneficial for us or potentially harmful for us. But what Hyperlite Optics is doing is they are actually transforming light into beneficial light. So it's basically we get all of the color spectrums, or the bulk of the beneficial color spectrum, and it's not constantly tinted with, say, red at night, like everything turns a tint of red, or with raw optics with their blue glasses, which is designed to get you this energizing light from the sun, but to take away the harmful light. That's really cool. I love it. However, everything is a tint of blue. And so what I like about Hyperlite is that you get a chance to have these really cool looking glasses, but and then they have different frames. The ones I have here are their hybrid series, so it works indoors and outdoors. And you notice that it has a slight tint to it. But I think even today I'm going to be getting their some of their other frames. So I've got some like aviator frames and some other cool frames. What I'm going to do quickly is share the website, which is hyperliteoptics.com, and I want to show you what it looks like, and then I'll dive into it more in the future, because I'll start to really do some content around what it all means. Here's the science behind Hyperlight Optics, the future of vision today. Step into the future and redefine what's possible for your vision, mind, and performance. Elevate your lifestyle, unlock visual clarity, and transcend traditional eyewear protection. Embrace a transformative shift towards better mental and physical health with the patented Hyperlight Optics technology. See more and feel better. Tomorrow is here. So, yeah, they use this, as you see here. It says, what does this say? Health, vision, and innovation all in one. The out of space carbon molecule fullerene 60, also known C60, also known as Buckminster fullerene C60, is integrated into the Hyperlight Optics. It acts as a nanophotonic generator of the new unique light structure, hyperlight, with the same symmetry as healthy biostructures. According to the resonance principles, where a pattern seeks an identical pattern, Hyperlight, as the ultimate resonator with a constantly perfect structure, prevails and imposes its ideal energetic properties on the disturbed biostructures, ordering them into a natural, healthy state, also known as homeostasis. So this is, I know it's very sciencey and pretty in depth, but you see a lot of the things that they promote here: improve cognitive abilities, optimize your vision, supports natural hormonal levels, and anti-aging benefits. So it's all here. You can see a little bit of the different styles they have here. I'm going to be working with the team to come up with some options for athletics, like running. I know there's a lot of people that like to run. This is running season right now. The weather is nice outside all across America, but here in New York, today's kind of a hot day. It's the first day that I have the air conditioner on. And this is when people want to get out and actually enjoy being out in nature and run outside, but we want to have a bit of protection on the eyes, especially if we are in the middle of the day. So what I'm doing is just kind of showing on the screen some of the information that you can see so that you can really look through this. They've got some really cool lenses like this Eclipse Blue Zebra. What is this other one? This is the Halo black clip-ons. So for those of you that have prescription glasses, you can also use this as a clip-on. And then I know that they're developing actual prescription lenses where you would have to send them in, or you would have to provide your prescription, and then they can make glasses out of that. That's going to be in the future. But yeah, C60 is born from stardust, inspired by zero gravity. So you can scroll down and see a lot of the information they have here. But Hyperlight is awesome. I've been using their glasses for a few weeks now, and it's really cool because the moment you put them on, you kind of notice a difference. And so depending on how in tune you are with yourself, I feel like you have a true opportunity to kind of see what these might be able to do for you. So if you have questions about it, feel free to drop a comment. Maybe just comment Hyperlight and I'll get back to you with some information. I do have a discount code because the glasses are a premium product. The ones I have on are titanium frames. They look really cool. So you'll probably start seeing me wear these quite a bit, especially across my content. And I will say, I still do use the raw optics red lenses for nighttime indoors, because at night I do want to block as much of that blue light as possible. But I'm using this as a complement. I'm using the Hyperlite as a complement, or I guess you could say I'm using raw optics, the nighttime glasses, as a complement to my visual processes, because some of the things that I'm going to be talking about in the near future, which is another review I can do, is on this idea of sensory movement. So I come up with this program called Sensory Movement that finds ways to allow us to be more sensory aware. And many of you probably know that I wrote a book called The Awareness Shift. And now that I am working on my next book about sensory movement, and then another book on the 15 by 5 program, I'm understanding some of the things that were missing in the awareness shift, especially when it comes to sensory awareness. So this is going to be kind of like a carryover from what I wrote before, but I'm going to be breaking down certain processes a little bit more deeply so that people can understand that there's much more to this than just the 5 pillars of optimal health and wellness, which is what I highlighted in that book, the first book. So Hyperlite Optics, check them out. They're amazing. Love them. Another one that I want to go over is the DefenderShield, the EMF blocking or zero EMF headphones. The ones that I'm wearing now, you may have noticed them across many different episodes I've done, but I also use the in-ear, not over the ear, but the in-ear headphones. I wear those constantly, right? I used to wear my Bluetooth headphones. I thought that I was doing something good for myself by listening to podcasts and listening to audiobooks and doing phone calls. And I found myself using those Bluetooth headphones, the wireless headphones, for more than 8 hours a day. I mean, I was doing so much. So on one side, I'm learning a lot and really helping my body and my brain to kind of understand new concepts by reading a bunch of different books or listening to a bunch of books and listening to a bunch of different podcasts. But on the other side of that, I was exposing my body and my brain especially to more and more radiation. So what do I do about that? Okay, I make a change. So I decided to switch out my headphones, and I can say that since December of last year, I have not used a Bluetooth headset one single time. That means even when I go on my runs, going on my runs used to be my favorite time to listen to a podcast or listen to music to kind of help with the rhythm of movement, which is another thing I talk about with sensory movement. Creating a nice rhythm and using the headphones to sort of kind of separate me from everything else that is going on and feeding into all the different distractions. I would use headphones to kind of help me to hone in on what it is that I'm doing. But once I switched away from the wireless headphones, the Bluetooth headphones, I realized that going out for a run without headphones allowed me to actually tap into the things that I choose to tap into. So I feel like that's helping my body and my mind, my brain, to literally use the reticular activating system, RAS, to decide what is actually important. And so whether I use headphones or not, the DefenderShield Bluetooth in-ear headphones that I use for most of my daily stuff now, it's hard for me to keep those in my ears when I'm running because they don't clip around the ears. So what that's doing is kind of forcing me I still bring them with me, but I just place them in my pocket. And if I get a phone call or while I'm recovering, if I want to use the phone and I'm not bouncing around, then I do that. But during my actual run, I'm now forced to focus on things that make more sense, as in the push off on my big toe when I'm running, the pounding or the ground reaction forces that is happening. I can actually increase that a little bit better because I can now feel into it more. So these are some of the things that I do when I'm walking, and especially when I'm running. I'm trying to make sure that I'm using my body the way that it's designed to be used. And when we distract ourselves from that, when we separate ourselves from actually feeling and sensing what's happening interceptively and exteroceptively, blah, blah, whatever. When we can use interoception and exteroception, then I feel like we have a better opportunity to boost our performance. So these are some of the concepts I'm talking about. So right now, I've gone over Hyperlite, I've gone over DefenderShield headphones. I've talked a little bit about the sensory movement, but to wrap up the DefenderShield piece, they're not just a company that produces headphones. They have EMF blocking blankets. They have EMF blocking eyewear. So I have these eye masks that help to shield against light, right? So like when I'm doing meditations, I switch between the Defender Shield eye mask, and then I also have this eye mask that has magnets in it. So that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. Behind the scenes here, I am a huge fan and proponent of biomagnetism. So biomagnetism is basically the use of magnets and switching between the different polarities and using that in our biology to deliver a certain result. And that result usually is better circulation and better integration of our nervous system and how we pair that with our sensory system. Therefore, like one of the things I talk about, I'll keep coming back to the sensory movement piece, but there's four main sensory input systems that we rely on as humans, right? And that is the visual system, the vestibular system, which is usually like our inner ear, the proprioceptive system, which is our joints and how everything relates and lets us know where we are in space. And then our mechanoreceptive system, which is the use of our mechanoreceptors, mostly in our feet, and how that can be disrupted. Those signals can be disrupted when we wear conventional shoes, things with a lot of padding, a lot of cushion, things that are very restrictive for our feet, doesn't allow us to fully use our mechanoreceptive system. Now, we do have mechanoreceptors in our hands and our skin, right? Our fascia, but if we have any part of that process shut down or diminished, then the rest of the processes don't work as well. So when you put those four main sensory input systems together and you optimize those systems, giving you more input and learning to tap into all of those systems as a whole, then that's usually when we're optimized with our movement. We're optimized with our performance. And so when I can use something like biomagnetism to kind of help open up those networks, the nervous system networks that travel from our feet to our brain and back, then I feel like I have much better balance. And so there's different things that I do with people when it comes to, let's say, like massage therapy, or a situation that might look like a massage therapy where you're lying on a table. I might place the magnets with the negative polarity facing the body, and what that does is it helps to kind of bring in this pairing of free electrons, because as you may know, when our body is in a sympathetic state and we have a lot of cortisol and we have a lot of inflammation, then our cells are usually at a more positive charge, but it has a negative effect, right? So it's kind of inversely related, if you will. This positive charge creates a lot of chaos in the body, free radicals, inflammation, high cortisol, things like that. And so when you can do things like grounding, which give us actual negative electrons, free electrons that come from the earth, you can either go outside and connect your skin, whether it's your bare feet or your hands or your body, and you connect that to the earth, you get this electron exchange happening to help balance out the positive and negative charges of our cells, because they do act as capacitors or like little batteries. And batteries work best when they have a neutral charge of the same sort of negative and positive charges coming together, right? So that can be very deep in the weeds, but why I use magnets, we call them static magnets, they can be very beneficial. There's, you can use your very low level refrigerator magnets that are kind of small. Those do have a static charge. Those are static magnets, and they do have some benefit. But when you can get into the higher Gauss of these really, really powerful rare earth, I think if I'm saying this correctly, neodymium or neodymium. neodymium, I think is how you pronounce it. There's a company that I work with that is called MagnetRX, and they make a lot of really cool products where you can place magnets like in certain wraps. You can put it around your elbow or around your ankle, or even they have these straps even that go around your back. Um, I can even show. Let's see. I'm gonna go to magnetrx.com just to show you what I'm talking about. But if you're not familiar with magnets or biomagnetism, then I would highly suggest checking it out. So I'm sharing it on the screen now if you're watching the video. And let's pop that off. But yeah, they've got bracelets. So they have like a jewelry line. I used to wear the bracelet, and then you may have noticed I used to wear a necklace similar to the one that I'm showing right now. But the one that I have on currently is paired with my One device, which is another product I've talked about at length. But they even have magnetic rings, they have anklets, they use copper. Here's the hematite bracelet, which is what I have on, but this is the necklace version of. So this is a hematite necklace, and they even have for your Apple Watch. If you're someone that uses an Apple Watch, they have watch bands that infuse or they integrate the magnets within the watch bands, and so it's really cool. If you even see on the screen here, if I put these together, they stay together, right? Because they're magnetic. But then I can separate them, and because I'm wearing this one device, it was easy for me to just connect this to the connector of the one device, and now I'm getting the benefits of the magnets around my neck. So this is really good for people who have tech neck. If you're using your phone a lot, using the computer a lot, you might have some issues with your neck. So this is a good strategy for that. And then I also have the technology within the one device, which uses light, sound, and vibration, and I keep that against my body. So of course, this light can also goes through clothing, very light clothing, especially if you're wearing natural materials like the one that I'm wearing now. But I prefer to have it close to the skin. And then if you put it up to your ear, I've had a few of my friends hear it. You can actually hear it if you really, really focus. You can hear the sound, and then the vibration. There's a little crystal inside that vibrates to add to the other parts of the frequency. So everything is about movement and vibration and energy, and we can use things like magnets and grounding and light and sound. And when it comes to sound, I can tell you very quickly, I've been working a lot with tuning forks. So tuning forks are really, really good to show what's possible with sound. That's also a part of my sensory movement program as well. But here's the thing I was talking about before. So here's like knee sleeves. They've got patches that you can wear under your clothes. They've got shoe insoles, which I've used insoles from other companies that do magnet insoles, but Magnet RX also does it. Here's the biomagnetic therapy kit I was talking about, where you're lying on a massage table, and then a therapist comes over and places these very strategically. It can be very, very in depth, but what I can tell you is if you see there's red what do you call these? Like, they're not patches, but let's just call them you see the red magnet, and there's these large Gauss magnets that are inside of like a leather pouch or a silicone pouch, and they have on the red side, that's the positive end, and then on the black side is the negative end. So if you want to utilize the negative polarity, or if you want to use the negative pole on your body, then you want to have the red facing up. You want to have the black, or the negative pole. You want to have that against your body. And so in this situation, this therapist sees or knows how to use the positive and the negative side properly. So there is a whole course you can go through, several courses you can go through. They use a lot of muscle testing, which to some people is a little bit out there and very esoteric, but I love using that. And then I have the Magnet RX magnetic meridian massage fork. This is really cool when it comes to release, like myofascial release and trigger point therapy. And those magnetic forks are really powerful, believe it or not. So They're promoting a 5 times strength Ellipse Max magnetic bracelet, titanium, looks really cool. And there you go. So that's MagnetRX, biomagnetism, something that I'm really a fan of. And you may not see me talk about this much on my social media, but that's why I'm doing these little reviews right now. So you can kind of be on the inner circle and you can ask questions. If you're not clear as to why I'm talking about this or how I use it, then let's use this platform to kind of help uncover some of the things that are out there that you may not know about, or some of the things that you may know about and that maybe you don't get a lot of use out of. So I'm going to wrap up with one more interesting tool that I've been working with that I feel like has been a game changer. Um, it is the Rally orbital massage. Okay. I'm going to pull the website up on this as well. I'm doing a lot of website pull-ups, right? So the website for this one is getrally.co. And I'm going to share this on the screen. And if you've been paying attention to my social media, you would have seen me do a couple of pieces of content around it. But what's cool about the Rally device is that it uses a circular motion, kind of like a car buffer, along with a little bit of percussive linear action as well. And yeah, you can see here that it's got like 3 different modes, but they also have 3 different um, tips that go with it. Actually, I think they have 4 tips that go with it. So you've got the flat tip, and you can also use it to go over bone, right? Like if you use a regular massage gun, you might notice that if you hit a bone, that thing acts all crazy. It just jumps around and it's kind of painful. And for some people, having a regular percussive massager is totally fine. I mean, I've used percussive massagers for a long time, right? For many, many years. But what I find is that I use them and then it maybe gets no use, right? And it just kind of sits off to the side and it collects dust, and I don't like that. But what I'm showing you here is here's the different attachments that you can get with Rally. So let's see. This one here is a little bit more of a targeted device. They have 2 other ones that are like a bit more targeted, right? So it does come with 3 different attachments, and you see that you just pull it off. You tap the power button at the end of the tool, and then you tap it again. That's level 2. Tap it again. That's level 3. And it's pretty easy to set up. It has a very sleek, cool-looking charging dock, and it's very, very compact. It has a little bit of weight to it, which I think is nice, especially because you want to have some kind of weight to help with the vibration, getting it through the system. But yeah, I think it looks really cool. They've won a lot of awards. As you see here, they have the GQ Tech Awards 2025, Men's Health Fitness Awards, and then Best Tested 2025 from Yahoo. And this is what it looks like. Really, really cool. 3 precision massage attachments, rapid charging dock. I also noticed that the battery life is quite long. So here you see the comparison between other leading massage guns out there. And yeah, this is how it stacks up. So it's super quiet. And as you notice here, it has kind of like a natural warming effect because you're getting so much vibration throughout the system. And like, I like to use it on the feet a lot. So I did a running workshop. I'm going to stop sharing this now, but I did a running workshop at Motion a couple weekends ago. And the people who came to the workshop, they got a chance to see how I use this, because when it comes to opening up the feet and getting as much mechanoreceptive activation throughout our feet, I feel like we need to use vibration. And we can do that by getting ground reaction forces by walking more, running more, going upstairs. One of the strategies I like to do is stomping. Every time I take a step up the stairs, I like to stomp into it. It could be annoying for our neighbors, right, if I do it all the time. But I really like to do it when I'm coming out of the subway. So when I'm walking up the stairs, coming out of the subway, there's already a lot of noise anyway. And I use that opportunity to like stomp on the steps every single time. And I'm visualizing the vibration that is coming through my bones, therefore hopefully increasing bone density over time, because we need upwards of 2 or 3 times our body weight to get beneficial bone density benefits. And some strategies in doing that is jumping. So it's the act of landing that gives us this ground reaction force that we kind of need on our system, kind of getting that shear force, if you will. And then also doing strength training, but we got to do like a lot, like a pretty heavy strength training. So some people might not be used to doing that, or they might not be ready to do that. But something we can do quite a bit, I think, is hopping down from steps. So just going on a step and maybe going on 1 step or 2 steps and jumping down, landing, and then jumping straight up. That's a strategy I like to do with my clients. But walking up steps and stomping every time is just as effective, or could be as effective, because it's something that more people, I think, can do. So the barrier of entry is a lot lower when you're doing something that we do all the time anyway, especially in an urban city like New York City. So using the rally device to get this vibration while you're on a table, if I'm the therapist and I'm putting this vibration into your heel, you feel it all the way up your bones. You feel it like very high up, especially into the hips. But some people feel it all the way up into their shoulders and even their neck. So we're getting a good amount of vibration depending on how hard I push it into your heel and what setting I have on the orbital massager. So that paired with actually getting activation on the top of the foot, I have some really cool devices, especially that tool I used, or that I talked about before, that magnetic tool that I use for myofascial release. I like to use those little balls on the end of that fork to go in between the different toes, and I'm using it on the top of the foot. So I'm just kind of mashing into that. So the magnetic action of the magnetic fork, that is helping with circulation, right? So we don't have to dig in too hard, but then I can follow that up with the rally device, and I literally massage on top of the foot. So if you try to do that with a normal massage gun, it would be very painful. And I've done it, but you don't get quite the same effect. But when you use the rally device, and I like to do it with toe spacers so that my foot is in the proper posture, or the proper anatomical position, as in toes are spread. Then I follow up with the tuning with the fork. So I do use a tuning fork sometimes, because some of my tuning forks have a tip that is a bit softer, but you still feel that vibration. I use a tuning fork, I use the magnetic fork, and then I follow it up with the rally orbital massager. And that has been very helpful for opening up my feet, my ankles, even my Achilles. Like I could almost never do any kind of massage gun on my Achilles, but with the rally device, I just buff it out. I just hold it on there, buff it out. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper with the rally device, all you have to do is just turn it on the edge, the smooth edge, and it goes a lot deeper. So it acts more like a linear percussive massager, like you would be used to. So I kind of think of it as a 2-in-1 or a 3-in-1 or 4-in-1 device that really is powerful. So when you see the price, don't get shocked, because it's more like having multiple massage devices in one. And also, for those of you that are curious, I do have a discount code. So if you want to hit me up about that, just comment rally or send me a direct message, or even just send a comment, and I'll send you some information on that. And I'll try to link to all these things in the show notes so that you don't have to sort of waste time by messaging me and talking about it. You can just actually click the links. So I'll hopefully be able to provide that in the show notes. And yeah, I have a couple of interviews that I've done recently that will be coming in the next couple of weeks that are truly exciting. It just takes some time to edit these and then get them posted. But I've done some interviews that I think will be very interesting for you all. So thanks for allowing me to speak to you. I'm trying to do more of these like reviews that are a little bit on the shorter side, because my interviews can get quite lengthy. But I'm here to answer questions and to talk about some of the things that are out there that you may not be aware of yet. So until next time, this is Josh signing off. Simply Walk the Talk. Peace.
Wow.
Walk the talk, talking facts. Move like me, but I move a little fast. Make my move, here to last. Fasten these seatbelts, I'm coming past. Take care of me, longevity. Hack my biology, better believe. Walking the talk, soul, mind, and body connected. Better come give us a listen. Better come give us a minute or two. Open the box up, we giving you tools. Giving your engine the fuel that it needs. Breathing into it, it's autoimmune. Make a connection, we're stronger in two. Making us one of a kind of a few. Work on the mind, but show me your moves. If you do what you say, you know what to do. Yeah.
Simply walk the talk.